Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. I feel all sorts of different emotions about this episode. And I bet you guys and girls are gonna feel all sorts of different emotions about this episode. But we can't ignore it, and we gotta talk about it. I just ask that you be cool, you be level-headed, and you be respectful of everybody involved. Not just me, but everybody, okay? We're gonna talk today about two cool Switch game leaks. One that is like, I can't believe it happened last night. It is wild and I feel so bad. And the other is just straight up exciting. And then we've got to get into Nintendo's change of plans. What the heck is going on with the Switch Pro? Where it's at right now, things that have developed over the past few hours, and whoa. And even some crazy bald Nintendo conspiracies that we've got to touch on. It's a lot, but I'm gonna just sort through it. I'm gonna be direct with you. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna give you all the facts, okay? That's what you deserve. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're all having a wonderful Friday. The weekend is freaking here, and you know what that means? 1 week till E3. So smash that like button. Let me know in the comments down below how y'all doing, and share your take on what I'm about to tell you, because I think there's gonna be a lot of different responses. If you're new here, welcome. You arrived on, oh boy, one heck of a episode. We do this every weekday. Love to have you on board the channel. Subscribe, turn that notification bell on. This is gonna be your hub for everything Nintendo during E3 and beyond. I got you covered on the goods. And oh, this one's juicy. But first, let's talk some games. Late last night, we had a website update accidentally. This probably wasn't supposed to happen until June 15th during Nintendo's E3 Direct, but one of the most long-tenured Switch exclusives now has a release date. Yes, my friends, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming on November 11th, and that was a complete goof. There's no way that website was supposed to update last night. They were probably getting it ready and hit the wrong button, and I can't even imagine the chaos. Like the mental demons they faced after knowing they made that big mistake. I feel so bad. They've been working on this thing forever. It's one of the first Switch games announced, a new SMT, and now it's coming in November. That month is really taking shape now. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl to arrive. That's when Pokemon always does. And now SMT 5, a very RPG heavy month, and a really exciting one for those of you who have been paying attention to this game from the beginning. There'll be more details at E3, I'm sure, but yeah, the cat's out the bag, November 11th. And I'd love to know in the comments down below if you plan to pick this one up. Are you interested in Shin Megami Tensei, or are you more interested in Marvel XCOM? Yeah, there's a big 2K leak going around right now saying that Firaxis is working on a new XCOM style game, but with Marvel superheroes. And we've had a lot of big industry sources verify that, yeah, this is legit. Jeff Grubb, Jason Schreier, they're all saying, yup, this 2K leak, which catalogs new stuff on NBA, new stuff on a new Borderlands Tiny Tina game, a new IP coming our way from Hangar 13, and Marvel XCOM, which sounds like the perfect match. That's like a match made in heaven. That's like Thor and his hammer, Thanos and the thumb, me and you for Nintendo news. It feels like it's going to be amazing, and I feel like it could and should hit Nintendo Switch, right? The XCOM collection dropped on Nintendo Switch. 2K has a history of supporting the system pretty darn well, and I would hope that they could find a way to put this on the platform. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was a nice get for Nintendo and the Switch, so you'd think they'd be making the pitch to 2K like, hey, can we get this? Now, if it does run with incredible graphics or some sort of next-gen engine, maybe it misses Switch, but hey, we are expecting a Switch Pro. And the good news is, guys and girls, like, it is still happening. We'll get to that segment in a minute, but this isn't like a complete cluster disaster, right? This is just a bump in the road. So I would love to see Marvel XCOM hit Switch, and I hope Nintendo and 2K are able to work that out, because I think that is gonna be super fun, and it feels like inevitably with Firaxis at the helm, that is going to be a more true, fun experience than the Squeenix Avengers, which to me is like kind of a dirty mark on that Marvel franchise. They've done so well with their TV, with their movies, now with their theme park stuff. Avengers Campus opening up at Disneyland. Can't wait to go one day. I love me some Disney. But yeah, the Avengers, like the game? Ugh. All right, as we like to say around here, buckle in, because this one is going to be a thrill ride, all right? There's a lot, and I want to make sure that you know exactly what happened, but I want to give you a piece of good news and hope first. All signs, at the end of the day, say that the Switch Pro is still coming, and I firmly believe it. Bloomberg believes it, Eurogamer believes it, Emily Rogers believes it. The Switch Pro is still happening. That is a real piece of hardware, and all this confusion is because it is real, but it has really gotten messy over the last few days. Basically, we were all waiting for Switch Pro. You, me, and Howard the Duck, everybody. We're all chilling, expecting this to drop on Tuesday or Thursday, and then Friday, and it didn't happen. So what went wrong? Because there was this huge media blowup about the Switch Pro is imminent and it's happening in reliable sources and people know, and E3 and third-party developers, and no? So it really seems like something is amiss here, and we'll get to those conspiracies I mentioned in a minute, but I want to give you Nate Drake. He is one of the most known leakers in this whole debacle right now, and he posted yesterday on Twitter, which was sort of the beginning of the end, I guess. Due to ongoing conversations and discussions over the course of the week, I have considerably less confidence that an announcement will take place ahead of E3. This doesn't mean an announcement cannot happen, I simply do not know. He continued saying, I'm being open, honest, and transparent with everyone, and sharing that recent conversations and new information have me doubting a pre-E3 announcement. Some of the information I had and was confident in no longer looks as solid as it did a week ago. Cracks form due to inaccurate, inconsistent info and misunderstanding of accurate info. With expectations high, I want to address this in a direct and prompt manner. Now, I give him infinite credit for being honest about it. You know, a lot of times if someone goofed or messed up on something or information was provided incorrectly, they just go dark, they go silent, they don't want to deal with it. But he feels, and I like this, like committed to the community, and he wants to be clear. And we had others pipe in as well. And before you jump to conclusions, I do not think this is just hogwash. I don't think this is make-believe. I don't think this is people pretending. There were so many sources in so many places that independently really believed that a Switch Pro announcement was coming any day now. And that is backed up by Tom Phillips, who is the news editor for Eurogamer, one of the websites that said, hey, we verified that the Switch Pro announcement is imminent. And he said, put it this way, people working on multiple Switch projects expected it by now. So it's not just leakers and fans, like actual companies, people making Switch games, they expected this to happen. And the whole line of thinking that this needed to happen before E3 so that these companies could reveal their games as Switch Pro titles, that seems to be totally legit. And frankly, it could still happen. We still have quite a ways before E3 starts. There's a whole week, my friends. So this isn't a death knell for Switch Pro, it's just a big boulder that came crashing down on our birthday cake waiting for that Thursday reveal. And it does feel upsetting and a bummer because we were so trusting. We were so hopeful this time. And there's that little voice in your head that says, never trust Switch Pro, and I get it. I feel that way too, but this was too much evidence to deny. Tom Phillips continues and says, ultimately, it's up to Nintendo when it wants to acknowledge the new model exists, but he says it still does. And Emily Rogers backs this up, saying the more important news is that the Switch Pro is entering production and assembly this month. That's the only news that matters. Now, I will have a small bone to pick. I do think the release time matters as well. I do think the big reveal matters. I think it matters to us. I think the people that are following and trusting these people and paying attention, it really does matter. And when you say, hey, it's about to happen, we get super hyped. Whether you want to say that's our fault or their fault, or I don't want to attribute any fault, it's just the fact of the matter. We were all excited for this, and it didn't happen. Nobody meant anything ill or intentionally bad. They weren't trying to lead us astray. I really think there just was some mixed signals. I mean, even all these retailers, do you really think they were all pranking us? All these listings that appeared in, Best Buy System and Amazon Mexico and Boulanger and all other sorts of websites, something is brewing, something is cooking. And again, it might still be right there. It might still be, just getting that nice golden line on the top of the cookie, right? The chocolate chip cookie, you want to make sure you see golden brown over the chips. That might be the point we're at with the Switch Pro. It might be ready to pop out the oven. It just needs a few more minutes. Or, as all of these sources have now acknowledged, it could be taking place in July, aka post E3. Now, I've seen a lot of discussion on the internet like, hey, that would probably really frustrate other companies that do want to tout their games as Switch Pro titles. So it's just, there's a lot going on here, and Nintendo, they're the ones that choose this, not the leakers, not you, not me, not the other devs. I mean, I'm sure there's conversations that go on between publishers, but Nintendo ultimately has the final say, and if they want to make it easier for companies or they want to do it their own way, that's what they're going to do. And I want to emphasize that I still very much believe in the trustworthiness and legitimacy of places like Bloomberg and Eurogamer. They didn't just make this information up. They didn't just pull it out of a coin block. They were talking to game makers, they were talking to retailers, they were talking to sources. Everything was lining up. And then for one reason or another, it just didn't pan out. I mean, heck, we had Jason Schreier say recently that he knows some companies that still are moving around and changing their E3 plans. Everything is always in flux, it seems. Now, conspiracy-wise, I've heard this crazy theory that Nintendo is really out to get leakers. And so maybe they put out some fake feeler information to see who would grab it, and then they would be able to identify and, Nintendo Ninja style, eradicate the sources. If that was the case, Nintendo is like operating on a Jason Bourne Matrix level of mastery. And I do not believe this conspiracy, but it would be just downright fascinating, like movie script worthy. Like Nintendo puts out fake little tendrils for Switch Pro to see who bites, to then see who releases it and reveals it, and then they're able to track down and slap down on those leakers. That would be really interesting, but I think that might be just a little too Hollywood. My take is that somewhere streams were crossed. The Switch Pro is still happening, but the timing, they just were mistaken. And maybe it happens next week, maybe it happens at E3, maybe it happens afterwards. We're still getting a Switch Pro, and we shouldn't shun these leakers. I don't want to see any hate towards Nate Drake or Emily Rogers or even Eurogamer or Bloomberg. They're reporting on what they're hearing and what they're seeing, and by all accounts, the Switch Pro is still happening. So the takeaway from this should not be doom and gloom. It should be, hey, we get to practice patience, which sucks and isn't fun, and we were so excited, but it really seems Switch Pro is still coming. It's coming soon. The games are gonna get a serious upgrade with 4K DLSS graphics, a nice OLED screen, and a much sexier Switch. And we still have a 40-minute plus presentation of Nintendo software to look forward to at E3. So as much as this is like, I can't believe we fell for it, well, everybody's trying their best. And the good news is E3 is right around the corner, and there still is so much goodness to come. But let me know your take in the comments down below. There's gonna be some takes. I can already see it. And look, I get it. Like, I am someone that gets so hyped. I get the chills in my spine. I want this to happen. I was refreshing Twitter every hour. I was ready for it. I wanted to make the video for you guys. I wanted to throw my hands in the air. I wanted to toss my Pikachu doll and catch it. And we'll have to just catch it later. But I understand, like, I felt the burn and the bummer too. I really did. Like, I want to level with you. I'm not immune to this. Like, yeah, I really wanted it to happen this week. But life moves on, so let's get to our poll. I asked you guys, do you think the E3 Direct is gonna live up to the hype? And all you get is a yes or no answer. No caveats, no qualifications, just yes or no. And 63% of you, including myself, say, heck yeah, Nintendo is gonna deliver. It really does seem, despite all this tomfoolery, that they are planning a pretty awesome showcase. So many games, TBD, right? So many things to be announced for 2021 and beyond, and whether the Switch Pro is there or not, like, it seems like their lineup is gonna be killer, but 37% of you don't buy it, at least not yet. Tempering your expectations, I actually like that. I think both strategies are good. Get really excited because it's so fun to be happy, or be a little cautious because you don't want to be let down. 2019 was a great show. No E3 Direct last year. They had a pretty cool Direct earlier in 2021, so I am ready for it, and I can't wait to share it all with you guys and girls and everybody out there in the audience. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thanks for being here. Another week in the books. I got videos coming this weekend, but I'll see you guys on GMM next Monday. Hope to see you there. Make sure you're staying safe, staying healthy, staying happy, staying positive. Have a good weekend. Try not to stress too much about Switch Pro, and until next time, SwitchForce out.